بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Inshallah, we discussed ruling number 135, and we mentioned that the Umrah is similar to Hajj. It can become obligatory and it can be recommended. And once in lifetime, it is obligatory for everyone. However, say the Sistani Damodullah says, as long as somebody is living out of the vicinity of Makkah, about 80 kilometers, then its Umrah is because he's going to do Hajj al-Tamattu, Umrah al-Tamattu. So that Umrah is not then obligatory. We mentioned this ruling. So if someone does Hajj al-Tamattu, then it is not obligatory upon him to do Umrah Mufrada without any doubt. He says jazman. So yeah. ولكن الاحتياط بذلك كله مما لا ينبغي تركه. So we said that somebody dies even if he was able to perform it, then it's not obligatory upon that person to perform it. However, it is the precautionary measure should not be um, undermined or overlooked. So it is strongly necessary to observe the precautionary measures and perform the Umrah on behalf of this deceased person. Type of the Umrah. أقسام العمرة. يستحب الإتيان بالعمرة المفردة في كل شهر من شهور العام. Entire year, whenever you are able to perform Umrah al-Mufrada, it is mustahab. Muharram, Safar, Rabi' al-Awwal, Rabi' al-Thani, even in Dhul Hajj, after you have done your obligatory Hajj and Umrah al-Tamattu, you can do Umrah on behalf of someone else, because you did your Umrah with Umrah al-Tamattu. So this is entire year, you can perform the Umrah al-Mufrada, the individual or independent Umrah. So yustahabbul ityan, it is recommended to perform the Umrah al-Mufrada, the independent Umrah or individual Umrah, which is not associated with Hajj. Mufrada is not associated, independent. في كل شهر من شهور العام, in every month of the months of the year. ولا يعتبر الفصل بين عمرة وأخرى ب30 يوما, and it is not required to separate the one Umrah from another Umrah with 30 days. Remember, we had discussion yesterday about the gap between two Umrahs. If you are going to do your own Umrah, both of them, then we said it should be in 2 different months and not separated by 30 days. Not necessary. It's not like you did Umrah on 15th. That means 15th of Rajab, you have to wait until 15th of Sha'ban to do your own Umrah again. No, you don't have to wait 30 days. Yes, you have to wait until the month which you did Umrah finishes and a new month starts, you do Umrah. For example, you did in 28th Rajab. You can do another one of your own in first Sha'ban. So this is, we are talking about the same person performing the Umrah. ولا يعتبر الفصل بين عمرة وأخرى ب30 يوما. It is not necessary to divide to separate the Umrah, one Umrah from another Umrah with 30 days, to separate two Umrahs with 30 days. فيجوز الإتيان because he said it is recommended what to perform independent Umrah in every month. So in every month, one Umrah. So month means month of the lunar calendar, for example. So بالعمرة المفردة في كل شهر من شهور العام, in every month from the months of the year. And it is not required to separate two Umrahs with a gap of 30 days. فيجوز الاتيان بعمرة في شهر وإن كان في آخره وبعمرة أخرى في شهر آخر وإن كان في أوله. So it is permissible to perform one Umrah, even though that Umrah was, the first Umrah was at the end of a month, and the another Umrah was in the beginning of the second month, في شهر آخر. Okay, بعمرة أخرى في شهر آخر وإن كان في أولي, even if that was in the beginning of. So that means you did one Umrah, 30th of Sha'ban, Rajab, second day, first Rajab you did. So there's no even gap of one day between them. So one after another, you can do Umrah as long as they are in two different months. ولا يجوز الإتيان بعمرتين في شهر واحد فيما إذا كانت العمرتان من نفس المعتمر. Okay? أو عن شخص آخر. So you cannot do two Umrahs in 1 month, okay, for one person. Like I perform Umrah in Rajab, and again I perform another Umrah in Rajab for me, on my behalf. No. You cannot do two Umrah for one person, be it you or be it someone else. Okay, how about I do two Umrahs for my father? I will go there in Shahr Rajab, and I do one Umrah for my father and another Umrah for my father. You can't do that. Two Umrahs for same person in 1 month? No. أو عن شخص آخر, be it you, your own two Umrahs, or someone else's two Umrah you are doing on behalf. But if you want to do that, okay, you'll not go to hell. But he says that the intention should not be recommended, because the recommendation is one Umrah per month. We can't make legislations from ourselves. The Sharia said it's recommended for a person, one Umrah per month, per person, same person. Okay, you can't do for the same person another Umrah. So what does that mean? That means that you can do two Umrahs for two different people. I do one in Rajab for myself, another for my father, third for my mother, third for, like I do it, be it they are living or they are not living. You can perform Umrah, okay, on behalf of someone else, recommended Umrah obviously, be it they are alive or they are not alive. So he says, if you want to really do two Umrahs on your behalf or on behalf of someone else, both Umrahs in the same month, then do it with the intention of Raja'an. One recommended, another one what? Raja'an. Hope of its requirement. Okay? So what does this hope of its requirement mean? Hope of its requirements mean that whenever we have a recommended act, our Sharia is so peculiar that if there is a recommendation, there has to be an evidence. I can't make up recommendations. It is not permissible for me to make recommendations that will be prohibited innovation, prohibited bid'ah, blasphemous act. I can't make something which Sharia, which Islamic law, Islamic legislative system, it's not in the Quran, it's not in the Hadith. I can't make something which has not been prescribed as recommended. Forget about wajib, that's great sin. Okay? So if something is not wajib, you say, the Prophet ﷺ said it's wajib. The ayat says wajib, and this was not wajib. Then you are choosing your place in hellfire, because you are giving fatwa without a foundation of knowledge. Okay? So basically, any wajib or any mustahab, in order for a mujtahid to say it is wajib, obligatory, he needs to have evidence. In order for him to say it is mustahab, he needs to have evidence. Okay, what if he did not have evidence for the wajib? Or the evidence was shaky? It was not easy to prove the obligation. there were conflicting evidence, there was some conflicting opinions, ulamas, whatever reasons, the clarity of the verdict is not coming up in the mind of the marja or mujtahid. There's no clarity. It's like shady a bit. So he cannot give fatwa, because whoever gives fatwa without knowledge should choose his place in hellfire. So our maraja, top maraja, they're very God-fearing. They do not want to issue fatwas to please the people. Many times some mullahs and some, they come ayatullahs and they want publicity, they want voting. They start giving fatwas, easy fatwas for the people. No. If the marja, qualified marja, says there is easiness, we take that easiness. If not, then we'll have to live with the difficulty. And if it is too difficult and hardship, then we can always bypass to the next level of the ruling. Okay. So this is point number one. Any marja, qualified marja, if he's going to say this is wajib, this is mustahab, this is haram, this is makruh, he needs to have a solid, clear evidence, Quran, Hadith, concepts of intellectual society, indicating that obligation, indicating that prohibition, indicating that recommendation, indicating that abhorred or dislikeness of the act, makruh. So here we have one direction. And we said, if there is shaded area for obligatory acts, the marja will say obligatory precaution. He's not sure. Should I give fatwa or no? So we'll plug it with obligatory precaution. Ihtiyat wajib. Okay. We come to the other side. This is between wajib and haram. So if the marja is not sure or the evidences are not clear in front of the marja, he will not give fatwa because he doesn't want to choose his place in hellfire. He will plug it with a precautionary measure. So he'll say, on the basis of obligatory precaution, one should do it. On the basis of obligatory precaution, one should not do it. So this is obligatory precaution of obligation, obligatory precaution of prohibition. And this is not a fatwa. This is not a fatwa. This is a precautionary measure a marja gives me so that if I do it, I'll not be relieved from, I'll not be held accountable for going against this obligatory precaution. Maybe in the ilm of Allah it was, but I'm not getting clarity in the evidences. So this is what? This is wajib. On the other side, you have recommended acts, makruh acts. So in the makruh acts and recommended acts, if you open the book of law of Ayatollah Sistani Damadullah and Sayyid al-Khul Quddus Sirruh, they mention this concept. But since you're Hawza students, you need to understand this. Whenever we have doubt in something being wajib as a mujtahid, wajib or not, we will consider, we can put precautionary measures, obligatory program, but we cannot say wajib. It will be bid'ah. It will be prohibited. It will be a cause of choosing a place in the hellfire. Or you can relieve the people and say it is not wajib. You can say it's recommended precaution. So this is if it was wajib, doubtful wajib, and doubtful haram. What if it was doubtful mustahab and doubtful makruh? If it was doubtful mustahab and doubtful makruh, what will happen? Our ulama, if they look that there are solid evidences for mustahab, they will say mustahab. If there is solid evidence for makruh, clear evidence from Quran, the hadith, authentic hadith, or the concepts of intellectual society, they will say it is what? It is makruh. Makruh mustahab. How if the evidence was shaded and shaky and the mujtahid was not able to come to a conclusion? He will not tell you it is mustahab. He will not tell you it is makruh. Okay? Even if he says, he will say, like say the Sistani, many places says, mashhur, popular opinion is it's mustahab. Popular opinion is the ulamas, they consider this mustahab. But for me, istihbab is not proven. Or he will say, there's no harm in performing that act raja'an. Raja'an. What is raja'an? In hope of its requirement. So when the dalil says, offer salatul layl, for example, there is a dalil, there is a command. Okay? So there is a requirement to do something. But the dalil is shady. So the recommendation is not proven. So what should we do? If we want to perform this recommendation, easy. Perform it with the intention of raja'an. Raja'an. Okay? Raja'an is not raju or raju. No. Raja'an is hope. Arju. Okay? Arju minka. I hope from you that you do it and you finish it. I hope this work is completed. I hope. Arju. Raja. So raja'an, hope. So we do this recommended act, which my marja is not sure about its recommendation due to the shadiness of the evidence. So I can do that, but with the intention of not of istihbab, not mustahab, with the intention of raja'an. With the intention of what? Raja'an. How? The intention of raja'an is hope of its requirement. That there is a hope that it may be required. So let me do it. Because if it was required, then I'll get reward. If it is not required, then khalas, nothing. But if I say something which is not proven to be mustahab, a mustahab act, then choose the place in the hellfire. Intentionally, deliberately. The hadith is not clear. The ayat is not clear. The istihbab, the clarity of istihbab is not obvious. I can't give a fatwa of istihbab. I can't. So what will happen? I will have to give this ruling the way Sayyid has given. Raja'an. That means hope of its requirement. If it was required, then you have done. So there are several factors which brings the fatwa from wujub and haram to obligatory precaution, or avoid, or obligatory precaution perform. And for the istihbab side, the istihbab side indicates if it's clear evidence, khalas mustahab. If it is not, then it goes to the level of hope of its requirements. I am performing it, Ya Allah, in hope of its requirement. I hope if it was required, then I hope for the reward in this and in this act. Hopefully this is clear. So let's see what Sayyid says. So we were talking about 2 umrahs for same person in 1 month. Okay? He said, وَلَا يَجُوز. So وَلَا يَجُوزُ الاتيان بعمرتين في شهر واحد فيما إذا كانت العمرتان من نفس المعتمر. Okay? If أو عن شخص آخر. Both umrahs are on his behalf, or both umrahs are on behalf of someone else. Okay? Someone else. نفس المعتبر عن شخص آخر. وإن كان لا بأس بالإتيان بالثانية رجاء. So what if I bring the second with the intention of istihbab? No, not permissible. It's not proven. Why are you going to do bid'ah, innovation? Umrah bid'ah? I'm doing worship of Allah. Yes, do the worship of Allah the way Allah wants. And the way Allah wants is prescribed in the Quran and prescribed in the Hadith. How would I know? Through the one who understands, the professional who understands what is in the Quran and the Hadith. And that is the mujtahid. Mujtahid, the marja of taqlid. He is very well versed and experienced in understanding the Hadith and the ayat of the Quran. He tells you that this is mustahab, do it with the intention of mustahab, qurbatan la ta'ala. If he tells you the istihbab is not proven, do it with the intention of hope of its recommendation. Okay? So then you are on the safe side. So you are saying, I'm performing this Umrah, raja'an, qurbatan lillahi ta'ala. So we have wujuban, we have istihbaban, and we have raja'an. Okay? Wujuban, istihbaban, raja'an. So this is what he's saying. ولا وإن كان لا بأس بالإتيان بالثانية, even though there is no harm in performing the second one with the hope of its requirement. رجاء. ولا يعتبر هذا فيما إذا كانت إحدى العمرتين عن نفس والأخرى عن غيره. And he says this condition is not required. The month condition that both Umrah should not be in 1 month, it is not required if both Umrahs were on behalf of someone else. So that means you are doing 2 Umrahs, but you are doing one for you and one for your parents. One for you, one for your brother. One for you, that is okay. As long as you can do tens of Umrahs in 1 month. Every day you do 1 Umrah. I know one of the mu'mineen, mashallah, if he goes to Makkah for 10 days, he will do 10 Umrahs, if not 20. Because you can enter the state of Ihram, go to Tan'im, or what is called Masjid Aisha, embrace, it's like 7 kilometers from Makkah, it's the border of Makkah. Okay? Do the Ihram there and come back. This is the Ihram of those people who are already in Makkah. So come back to Makkah and do. So I know few mu'mineen, they do, all the time they spend in Makkah, let me utilize it by doing Umrah every day. Okay? They do it. And some of them, in some days, they do in the morning 1 Umrah, in the evening 1 Umrah. Yeah, obviously the crowd and the rush and traffic, sometimes they become impediment from performing more than 1 Umrah a day. But 1 Umrah per day, it's easy. You just go after Salat al-Isha to Miqat, and then after that, you come back, and still it's like the whole night is there. So easily you would be able to do the second Umrah with the first Umrah done, second Umrah on behalf of someone else. نعم فيما إذا كانت إحدى العمرتين, there's no problem in it. The condition is not required. The condition of 1 month is not required. If one of the Umrah was on his behalf, and other Umrah was on behalf of someone else, or both of the Umrahs were for 2 different people. So this is something which we wanted to mention today. Types of Umrah, the differences between 2 Umrah. Inshallah, that we will do it next Monday, because we said Fridays we don't have sessions. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. وآخر دعوان الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.